sacred full moon satsang with a few moments in meditation together. The eclipse has cleared. The full moon rose just before our eyes as we walked up from the Ganga Arati. And let's just take a few moments to connect with that fullness, that wholeness, that truth of who we are. So just allow your awareness to shift from being focused on all of the changing things around you to being focused on that which doesn't change inside you. Just draw that awareness inward. And you can allow that awareness to anchor in your breath. Don't try to change the breath or work with it, but just allow it to be a magnet for the awareness, for the attention. I'm going to walk you through a very powerful meditation technique called Neti Neti, which means not this, not this. One of the best ways of experiencing, not just knowing intellectually, but actually experiencing the truth of who we are, is by removing the ignorance around that which we are not. So I'm going to just, one by one, recite some lines. And after each one, I will pause. And in that moment of pause, I want you to dive in deep within you and get a yes from within you. Don't just listen to what I'm saying, but really feel it within you. And after each line, get a full yes within you. See the line, understand it, and then fully realize how true it is. You are not the clothing you wear. And of course we know this is true because we change our clothes, but we still exist. We get naked, but we exist. You are not the clothes that you wear. Get that yes inside you. Know that what I've said is true. You are not the skin beneath the clothes. We know this because our skin sloughs off every few days and regenerates. But we don't stop existing or start existing. We get sunburned and our skin peels. But it doesn't change the nature of who we are. You are not your skin beneath your clothes. Feel that yes. Know it to be true. You are not the blood flowing through your blood vessels. Our blood cells are regenerated so quickly, but we don't stop and start existing. We donate blood. Sometimes we receive blood, but it doesn't impact at all the nature of who we are. You are not the blood flowing in your blood vessels. You are not your organs, not your kidneys, your liver, your spleen, your gallbladder, your stomach. The cells of our organs regenerate every several years. Doesn't change who we are. Sometimes we even get an organ transplant. Donate a kidney, receive a kidney. Donate liver, receive liver. Have our gallbladder removed, our appendix removed. Doesn't change who we are. You are not your organs. Anchor in the yes. Feel it. We know it is true. You are not dopamine or serotonin or norepinephrine or oxytocin or any of the chemicals being produced in the neuron vesicles, little sacs, getting secreted into synapses, getting taken up by other neurons. We're not chemicals. Not chemicals sitting in sacs, waiting to be released. Because the chemicals get created. Then they're released, they're taken up, they dissipate, they're metabolized. But we don't change, we don't cease to exist. You are not the chemicals in the neurons of your brain. You are not an electrical impulse running down an axon of the neuron. Not an electrical charge that causes the sacs of the chemicals to release in a synapse, getting triggered and then dissipating. needing a new charge. You are not the chemistry or the electricity in your brain. Really know this to be true. You're not chemistry. You're not electricity. If you are not chemistry and you are not electricity, then you are not your thoughts. You're not your emotions. You're not your memories or your personalities or identities. Because every single one of those is a chemical and electrical pattern of activity in a certain area of your brain. But if you are not the chemistry, and if you're not the electricity, then you're not the thoughts, not the emotions, not the memories, not the personalities. Notice as you get subtler and subtler, peeling back layer after layer, how the spaciousness within you is increasing and expanding. As we peel back the layers of what we are not, we allow ourselves to just rest for a moment in the nameless presence of that which remains, that which we are. Slowly and gently, bring the palms of your hands together at chest level in Namaste. And gently rub the palms of your hands against each other. And press those palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Slowly lower the hands and open the eyes. So this meditation is a very beautiful practice to do not only in a seated, eyes closed meditation like we did or alone in your room, but actually to carry with you into the day. Because as we move through the day, And we get so many projections from so many people, negative ones, positive ones. It's so easy to internalize them. People say, oh, you're so wonderful. You're beautiful, you're amazing, you're brilliant. And we feel a certain way, we take it in. Or people say, oh, you are the worst. You are stupid, you're obnoxious, you're lazy, you're worthless. And we feel a different way. We take it in. Sometimes those voices are our own, sparked by something we did, didn't do, a glimpse we catch of ourselves in a mirror or a store window. As we move through the day, every time your mind says, I am, whatever it may be, the best, the worst, fabulous, awful, beautiful, hideous, whatever it may be, just say, Neti Neti, not this, this. And allow the layers to peel back through your day, layer by layer. And you'll be able to move through the day in remembrance. And that's what it's about. So, typically we begin with a question in advance that comes in from our online family. But given that we've started satsang so late this evening due to the eclipse and therefore the late arati, I want to go right into questions that are here. And I know we had one from this morning that, was it you? Yeah, who we said that we'll take you first. So there's a microphone right there. If you can just come to the mic, share your name, share where you're from, and then ask the question.
Hello, Margherita from Italy. It's probably two questions within a question. So it's mainly about faith. Probably it's been asked many times. So how can we have faith in light of what, as humans, we cause? And when we find ourselves in situations like hunger, extreme poverty, bombed, are we supposed to accept this as our karma? So are we in those situations mainly and solely because of our karma? Thank you.
Great. So faith. Faith is one of the most important things in the world. But there's no rule that says exactly who or what or how we must have faith in. People who subscribe to specific religions, we have faith according to the religion. Faith in Krishna, faith in Ram, faith in Shiva, faith in Jesus Christ, faith in Adonai, faith in Allah, faith in whatever tradition we come from. But the divine is infinite. And one of the core tenets and premises of our Dharma is that infinite divine is able to be known in an infinite number of ways. There's an infinite number of pathways into the infinite river of the presence of the divine. Some of us feel the presence of the divine more in trees, in nature, than we do in a particular name or form of the divine. Totally fine. No problem with that whatsoever. Some people access the divine through a nameless, formless, supreme reality, source, cosmic intelligence. No problem? For me, I I actually entered the river of faith very interestingly, because I entered the river of faith long before I was a religious or spiritual person. And I entered it through science. After spending enough time in science labs, in university, in my PhD program, you spend time in science labs. And they give you lists of things to do in your Bunsen burner and your crucible and your beakers and, here's what you got to do. What I discovered was that the vast majority of time with your beakers and Bunsen burners and crucibles, nothing happened. And, as students, we'd all look at each other like, beats me, something was supposed to happen, it didn't happen, problem somewhere. Sometimes you get a bad smell. You get some smoke. Something arises. You get into higher science and they start being able to actually make things. But to this day, thousands and thousands of years of scientific inquiry and discovery, hundreds of years of what we would consider modern science with all of our modern tools, and we cannot create life in a petri dish. Cannot create it. Forget a human. Can't create a leaf. Take the very best botanists in the world. They can tell you how much nitrogen, how much carbon, how much hydrogen, oxygen there is in a leaf. They can even take styrofoam balls and sticks and show you how the molecules bind together. But they cannot create a leaf that is capable of actually doing photosynthesis and being alive in a petri dish. The idea that all of this happened utterly randomly, it didn't make sense to the scientist in me. I heard someone actually recently, a couple months ago, I was talking to somebody about this, and they said, it's like if you imagine a land that has been devastated by a tornado. We've all seen pictures, tornadoes come through, cyclones come through, and they just devastate. Tsunamis come through, devastate a landscape. The idea that a tornado comes through, devastates, gives us this, random elements now in the universe. Nothing is together, everything is random. And then another tornado comes through. Same land that a tornado had previously been through. Now another tornado comes through. And suddenly you get the Eiffel Tower. Doesn't happen. Suddenly you get communities of people. Another tornado in the land where we had a tornado does not bring a city back together. It doesn't bring a community back. The idea that a bang of elements in the universe created this was something that didn't make sense to me as a scientist. And I always believed that there had to be what I called a capital P plan, and therefore a capital P planner. Didn't have a name, didn't have a form, wasn't associated with any religion. But as a scientist, I could not wrap my head around the idea of this being random. So the point being, it doesn't matter how you get in. Through science, through religion, through any path. But we have to have faith in the idea that, the truth that, there is an intelligence. There is an intelligence through which caterpillars become butterflies, seeds become trees that sprout and give us fruit. Squirrels and chipmunks know to, take nuts in their cheeks and bury them in the ground. Baby birds know how to fly without being taught. There is an intelligence in the universe. And even if that's all you can have faith in, that's plenty. But to not even recognize an intelligence in the universe is to move through the universe with your eyes squeezed shut. So open yourself up to the presence of a perfection in the natural creation. Begin there. Your second question. Wars, violence, hunger, oppression. How do we understand that? Is it our karma? Yes. But that shouldn't be something that makes us depressed or complacent. Each of us is where we are at the current moment based on our past karmas. Karmas mean action. That which we did in the past brings us to where we are right now. The sum total of it. Each of our sum total of our lives, every moment up till this moment, has come together to bring us here. Okay? We couldn't change it. Can't rewrite history. Here we are. Now, in this case, it's a beautiful karma. It's a beautiful destiny. But sometimes we're in an awful place. We know my past karmas gave me the destiny of being right here in this moment. But what about next week? What about next month? What about next year? Well, that hasn't been pre-written yet. My karma today, my choices today, my actions today are writing my destiny of tomorrow. So yes, that which happens to us is the result of the seeds we've planted. It's not rewards, it's not punishments, it's just the law of nature. As I always say, you walk off a building, you're going to go splat. There is the law of gravity. You're a good person, you're a bad person, you're a religious person, you're an atheist, utterly irrelevant. You walk off the top of a building, law of gravity says you go splat. Not because God is punishing you, but because there is a law to the universe called gravity. That's how it works. There's a law of karma. You're not being rewarded, you're not being punished, the world isn't against you or for you in that way. We're planting seeds as we go. Those seeds are sprouting, they're giving us trees that are giving us fruit. But if we want different trees in our life, different fruit in our life, we learn to plant different trees. We learn to plant different seeds. It's up to us. What seeds are we planting? Because those create our destiny. The divine is with us. God is with us, wherever we are. Our scriptures, all of the world's religions of scriptures, are filled with stories of obstacles, of challenges, of struggles, of suffering, of the most beautiful beings, whether it's divine incarnations, whether it's pure devotees, who end up facing extraordinary challenge, extraordinary suffering. From Bhagwan Ram being exiled into the forest, to Bhagwan Krishna having his own uncle try to kill him, to Jesus Christ being killed on a crucifix, to Moses not being able to enter the promised land, to, whatever religion you look at. Story after story after story of challenge, of suffering. But nowhere is there a sense of, oh, but God is not with me. I've been forsaken by the divine. Every one of them is a story that has a past history, a reason, a tapestry of karmic threads that made it happen. And each of them has a future in which that story serves, not only as sacred inspiration to people for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, but actually for great change in the world even at that time. So rather than getting too stuck with the why am I where I am right now question, understand I am exactly where the sum total of all of my past lives together have brought me into the most perfect, conducive place for my next step closest to the divine. And if I want to be somewhere different, tomorrow, next week, next year, let me take the actions accordingly. And while I'm here, let me see in this moment, what is the lesson I'm meant to learn? What is the perfection I'm supposed to find? Sometimes the perfection cannot be found outside. We're in the middle of a war, in the middle of a famine, in the middle of a drought. There's no external perfection. The perfection may be my internals. It may be me figuring out a way to bring food or water or peace to those. It may be me finding an internal awareness, truth, opening, awakening in the face of fear. It could be anything. But we find what is the perfection of that moment because God knows how many lifetimes of ours have gone into creating it for us. But then we also grab the power of our free will and our action to create new moments, different moments for the future. Yes, of course. Other questions? Yes, please. And we'll take this as our last question tonight.
Thank you. Hello. My name is Tuani. I'm from Brazil. Funny fact, I was reading exactly about avidya, like ignorance of the self, before coming here in a book.
Avidya, yes.
I'm not sure the pronunciation.
No, that's okay. It just took me a moment.
And I was reflecting about it, and then you gave this meditation to us. Even though if I create a thought that I'm a soul, I'm a being of light, and this just material world, it will at one point die, these attachments I still carry on these attachments. Of course, as soon as I go out, the first thing as I think is like, oh my gosh, I want to be hit by a car, and then I will damage this physical body. So even though we meditate on it, how can we actually, your advice, or apply this, overcome this ignorance of the self when we're there in the real life at work?
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll give you another simple practice. When you walk out and you walk into a busy Indian street, and the mind goes, oh my God, I might get hit by a car and my body could get injured. Don't try to push the thought away. Don't yell at yourself. Don't make yourself feel bad. Don't say, oh, you're so attached. Because then you're just telling another story. Instead, stop right there and simply ask yourself one question. Who's noticing? Who's noticing? You're worried you're going to get hit by a car. Who's noticing you're worried? And immediately in that moment, we start to understand that there's two parts. The part that's worried and the part that's aware that there's worry. The worry is instinctive. Thank God you've got a fantastically operating sympathetic nervous system, survivor instinct. It is the product of tens of billions of years of evolution to get you there. And you are not the anxiety. You are the awareness. Anxiety's happening. I'm the light of awareness. Sometimes that light of awareness shines on a peaceful moment. Sometimes it shines on me being in love. Sometimes it shines on me being frustrated or tired or anxious. But I'm the light of awareness. I'm not the fatigue or the frustration or the fear. I'm the awareness. So whenever you find yourself grabbed by attachment, unable to anchor back in true self, just simply ask yourself, who's noticing? And what you'll see is it gives you an immediate step back. Right? Some people feel it like a step up. For me, it feels like a step back. And it's an immediate re-anchoring. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anxiety's there, attachment's there. But I'm not that. I'm the light of awareness. Because if you were the attachment, then when you walked in here and you no longer were afraid of getting hit by a car, you'd cease to exist. If that is you, then the moment you're no longer attached to that thought because you're out of danger, you would cease to exist. If we are our thoughts, positive ones, negative ones, well then in those rare and beautiful moments in between our thoughts, we would cease to exist. And if we cease to exist, then who's the one who's going to have the next thought? In deep sleep, we would cease to exist. If we cease to exist, who wakes up in the morning? We're not coming and going. The objects of our awareness are coming and going. I am aware that I am anxious. I'm aware that I'm attached. I'm aware that I'm depressed. I'm aware that I'm hungry because I've been fasting all day. I'm aware that I, am hot or cold or tired or joyful or jealous or competitive or itchy or happy. The objects that I am aware of keep changing. I'm aware of the lights. I'm aware of the cameras. I'm aware of the fan. I'm aware of all of you. But when the lights go away and the camera's off and satsang's over and you leave, I will still be aware. I'll just be aware of an empty hall. I haven't changed. My awareness hasn't changed. Just the object I'm aware of has changed. When you stand in the street, you are aware of the attachment to not getting hit by a car. Good. Wonderful. You should always make sure not to get hit by a car. Spirituality does not say leave your common sense at the door. There's a great story of a group of disciples of a guru who's teaching them, everything is Brahman. You are Brahman. Everything is Brahman. Tattvam asi, aham brahmasmi. Everything is Brahman. The disciples go into the village one day and suddenly there's this shout, wild elephant, wild elephant, wild elephant. Elephant is running loose, get out of the way. And everybody's scrambling to get out of the road except this one disciple who's like, I'm Brahman, the elephant is Brahman, we're all Brahman. What's to worry? The guy, they call it the Mahavat, something like that. Right? Mahavat. The elephant guy, like the guy who's in charge of the elephant, he starts yelling. Get out of the way, get out of the way, the elephant's out of control. The guy's like, you're Brahman, I'm Brahman, the elephant is Brahman, what to worry about, where to go. The disciples try to get him out of the way, and he's like, you people don't listen to our guru, you are bad disciples, I am the good disciple. See, I've taken our guru's teaching, I am Brahman. Elephant is Brahman, what to be afraid of? So the elephant catches up with him, and wild, aggressive elephant scoops him up in his trunk and flings him hundreds of feet away, and the guy lands, gravity, remember, splat on the ground, breaks his bones. Finally, his disciple brothers find him, and they bring the guru to find him. He's flat on the ground, writhing in pain, and he's furious. More than how painful his body is, he is furious. And he says to the guru, you lied to us. You told us that we are all just one. There is no division. And I believed you. And now this elephant has broken my bones. And the guru says, only you and the elephant are Brahman? What about the Mahavit who told you to get out of the way? What about your guru brothers who tried to drag you out of the way? What about every single other person in the street who said, get out of the way? Are they not Brahman? Only you and the elephant? Said, you didn't get the full teaching. They are all Brahman. But you ignored the divinity in them and got stuck only in the ego of your own narrow understanding. So, spirituality doesn't mean get hit by a car. It's okay. Car is Brahman, I'm Brahman. Yeah, you don't want to go into the street with that. Be clear, be sharp. The body is beautiful. Nothing wrong with wanting to protect it. Even a mosquito wants to protect it. The problem is identifying with it. You want to protect your home. It shouldn't be burned down. We protect it from fire. We protect it from earthquakes. We protect it from tornadoes, depending on where we live. Different types of architecture, different types of protection. Protect our cars. Protect our things that are important to us. Our body is the most important thing. Without a body, we have no way of interacting with pure consciousness, divinity. The body isn't the consciousness, but the body is the medium through which we experience it. Protect it, take care of it. Just don't identify with it. So the attachment that you want to be concerned about is not an attachment to protect it, but an attachment that says, I am it. So as you start to age and you look in the mirror and you realize, oh my God, droopy, wrinkly, this, there should not be a sense of, I am this, I am. You just notice, oh yes, this is what happens to matter. The body gets sick. The body looks good sometimes, doesn't look good sometimes. Sometimes people are prepared to pay it a lot of money for what it can do. Sometimes you get fired from your job. Sometimes people love you and say, I want to marry you. You are, my everything. Sometimes they say, I've fallen out of love with you. If we identify as that body, then every time we get hired, fired, loved, rejected, we look good, we look bad, our sense of self changes. So the admonition is, don't identify with that which is constantly changing, that which is temporary. You are that which is permanent. But it doesn't mean don't take care of it. or don't protect it or don't love it. So, two-part lesson. When you walk in the street, be careful. But two, when you feel overcome by a thought or an attachment that doesn't feel like true self, instead of yelling at yourself about it or telling yourself another story about how unspiritual you are, simply ask, who's noticing? Who's aware? And that will immediately bring you back into that truth of, oh yeah, I'm the one who's aware. I'm not the attachment, I'm not the anxiety. I'm not a sympathetic nervous system reaction any more than I'm the serotonin or dopamine in my brain. Didn't mention cortisol in my original list, but it certainly fits in the same list. I'm also not cortisol. I'm the awareness. And just keep coming back to that, coming back to that, coming back to that. Beautiful. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening. A very beautiful, holy tomorrow. And we will gather again tomorrow evening. And so much love to you all.